Hello, welcome back to Loquitur Gaming. I'm going to continue on playing some Marvel Champions, and I wanted to play this today because I just yesterday got my copy of the new Ant-Man Hero Pack from my Team Covenant subscription. Since it had just arrived and it's a new hero, I thought I'd give it a shot, go see what this hero pack is all about. I have not played any of the other hero packs. I've got some of them on my shelf over here. All the games of Marvel Champions that I've played are up on the channel, so it's not very many. I've played through the heroes in the suggested starter decks from the core box, and I've only played against Rhino. I'm going to play against Rhino again, just because I don't want to mix a new hero pack with a new villain to start off with. I am kind of thinking about a couple different ways to continue exploring some of this game. Couple different avenues. One is I might just go through the hero packs that I have and play against Rhino, just so I can get a feel for the different heroes. Then after I've gone through the heroes that I've got, then maybe start customizing some decks and going against new villains and learn what all the different villains are about. Or I might just go with the core box heroes through the other two villains in the core box and see what they're about. It's interesting to kind of plan this out when you come into the game later. If you were in the game from the beginning, you could just go with what's in the core box, play all through that for a while, and then you can start adding stuff on. But I've got a bunch of stuff that's been added on that I can try to figure out a plan to explore all at once. All right, so Ant-Man here. Ant-Man has three forms. He's got an alter ego form, a tiny hero form, and then his card flips open into a giant hero form. And you can go from any form to any form, still once a turn. There was one thing with his deck that I had to look up a rule. There is another Ant-Man card, but this is Ant-Man Hank Pym. So the rules do specifically state that if your unique card has a different subtitle, and this one has a different subtitle, it's Hank Pym, then you can have it in your deck, because this card came in the pre-built deck from Fantasy Flight, so obviously they would hopefully not include a card in their pre-built deck that you wouldn't normally be able to have in a deck. And his pre-built, this is just a pre-built deck. I haven't even looked through the other cards that come in there, because like I said before, I have not done any kind of deck building, exploring at all. It's all just been with the pre-built or suggested decks that came in the core box. So I've got his obligation here. We got to put that into, and I guess the other thing too isn't just the villains, because I'm still just running the bomb scare. What is that thing called? It's objective set maybe, or something? Encounter set? Maybe it's an encounter set. You got the standard encounter set that you have in all of them, the villain specific one, and then there's another optional one that, it's not really optional, you got to pick one, but there's another one that you can add in. There's a couple different ones to choose from in the core box. So we've got Rhino's hit points set to 14. And if we get up to 7 threat on the main scheme here, we're going to lose because there's only the one. It says if this stage is completed, the players lose the game. So I think we're set. Just go for the opening hand of 6. Power Gloves is an attachment to an ally. Genius is some resources. First Aid we don't really need. Call for Aid is okay, because we can always try to dig for an ally. I think maybe we just try to dig, but Genius is probably good because it's the double resource. Giant Strength will give us an extra attack. That might be okay. Team Building Exercise. Play a card from your hand that shares a trait with your hero, reducing its resource cost by 1. So I'd have to use this 3 times over the course of the game for it to pay for itself. I think for now I probably mulligan that one. I think I'm okay with these three. I don't know if call for 8 is one you keep, or do you just mulligan that and try to draw somebody? I don't want to mulligan too much though, because you get an extra encounter card when you get through your entire deck. I think this will be okay. Reinforced suit. Oh, we got Giant Man, the most expensive one. However, we do have a lot of resources in our hand. With strength and genius. And we can give him more hit points. Yes, okay. I'm not entirely thrilled with what I've got, but we shall see. All right, so let's play out Giant Man. We will pay for him with genius and strength, and that's +2, this +1. We'll pay for it with giant strength. So Giant Man is out. Then I'm going to give him reinforced suit so that he has more hit points, and that'll keep him above 3 or more hit points longer. So he's going to have even more attack. And I will pay for that with call for aid. All right. None of that was hero stuff, right? No. Okay. So I'm going to switch forms. I'm going to go into giant form. So giant form here, the response is after you change to this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Tiny form is removing threat, and he has a higher thwart in tiny form. We have a higher attack. We've got 3 attack and 3 defense in giant form. So we'll switch to giant form. Giant form, we deal a damage. So that takes him to 13. Then I will attack him with Giant Man, giving Giant Man his damage. But he's 2 + 2 because of his ability. So that is 4. So that's going to take him down to 9. And then Ant-Man would also attack. That will take him down to 6. All right. I think that's everything that I can do. We're in the player phase. So we would discard. I have nothing to discard. Drop to my hand size is only 4 when I'm in giant form, so that's not great. So we draw up to 4. We got energy, Pim particles. If I use that as a resource, I could heal damage from myself in giant form, or draw a card if I'm in tiny form. Power gloves gives more power to an enemy, and we've got Wasp. So maybe we'll get Wasp out next turn with maybe Pim particles and energy. We'll see what happens. Ready our stuff. And go to villain turn. We have to add a threat to the scheme. He's going to attack because I'm in hero mode. I'm not going to block with Giant Man. I don't want to get his hit points down artificially, so I can keep getting benefit from his ability there. So, and I'm not going to block with Ant-Man either. Yeah, I'm not going to block with Ant-Man. So he's attacking me. Starts at an attack of 2. 2 boost is 4 damage. And then an encounter card. Caught off guard, when revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains surge. So I guess I have to discard Reinforced Suit, which is kind of a bummer. My whole plan with Giant Man. Yes, that made Giant Man worse. But he's an expensive card. I don't know if I would actually build him into a deck unless I had... I mean, I guess this is a good plan, right? That was a good plan. That's some serious situational card combo there, though. All right, so that was my encounter card. We go back to my turn. So if I wanted to play out Wasp, I could spend energy. And if I used Pim Particles, I'm in giant form. That would heal 2 damage. Then I could stay in Ant-Man. I still have 3 or more hit points, so these 2 could do the 4, or I'm sorry, the 6 damage to get Rhino down. After Wasp enters play, deal 2 damage to an enemy if you're in giant hero form, or remove 2 threat if you're in tiny form. I'm in giant. Okay, so Wasp is going to come out. I think I know that for sure. So pay with, it costs 3, pay with energy, and Pim Particles. So Pim Particles is an Ant-Man card. Ooh, there's green on there that's playing weird with the green screen. So I'm in hero form. Hero response after you spend this card. Heal 2 damage from your hero if you're in giant form. We've done that. I'm just left with Power Gloves in hand. This was spent on Wasp. Hero response after Wasp enters play. Deal 2 damage to an enemy if you're in giant hero form, which I am. So we will deal 2 damage to the enemy, leaving the enemy with 4. So let's have Giant Man attack. That'll be, because he still has 3 hit points or more. I'm pretty sure they take their damage after they do their attack or whatever. Let's just double check. Using an ally, exhaust the ally, declare what they're doing, declare the enemy you're attacking, resolve the attack, deal consequential damage. Yep. So we're going to resolve the attack. So that's 4. Which means Rhino's going to be... Stage 1 Rhino's done. Stage 2 Rhino, when revealed, search the encounter deck for the old Breakin' and Taken side scheme. I don't like getting extra encounter cards, so maybe we'll try to deal with this Breakin' and... Where is Breakin' and Taken? Did I go right past it? Crowd control, charge, bomb scare. No, it was the other direction. Breakin' and Taken. When revealed, so it starts with 2 and it gets 1 per character. And that is a extra encounter card during the villain phase. So there's 3 thwart on there, or 3, not 3 thwart, there's 3 threat on there. I could, let's think about this. I could take 2 with Wasp. I could change forms. Actually, I wouldn't even need to do 2 with Wasp. I could change forms into Tiny Ant-Man, remove 1 from it, and then remove 2 from it with my action. And then she can attack. All right, but first we need to give Rhino his hit points. He is going to be at 15 for 1 hero. So the way that I do it is I put my 10s on this side and my single digits on this side. So it's 10, this is a 2, 2, and a 1. So it's 15 total. Power gloves, I cannot pay for this. So let's do this. Let's transform into Tiny Ant-Man. And our response here is after we change into that form, we can remove one threat. So we'll take one off of Breaking and Taken. And then we will use Ant-Man to take 2 off of Breaking and Taken. So Breaking and Taken is done. And then we can attack with Wasp for 2 on Rhino. And she takes 1 damage from that. Now as Tiny Ant-Man, I get a hand size of 5. I've got 1 in hand, so we'll draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Moxie is an event. If we change form, we get +1 to each of our stats. Got another Pim particle to spin as a resource. Giant Stomp. 8 damage if we are in giant form. That might help us in the game. And we've got a Call for Aid we could use as a resource probably. Unless something drastic happens, we might be able to win next turn. So let's ready everybody. We have to add a threat here. So we're at 2. I'm in hero form still, so Rhino's going to attack. I'll deal him his boost card. I might throw Giant Man in front of it. We still have 10 hit points. I think I'll keep Giant Man alive. This could be 6. That would take me to 8 damage, and then if I get attacked again, then I can throw somebody in front of it. I'll just take it. I want to try to keep as much attack on the board as possible to burn down his 13 hit points he'll have next turn. So attack 3 plus no boost. Okay, so that was all right. We got rid of Breaking and Taken, so we only get dealt 1 encounter card, right? Attached to Rhino, Forced Interrupt. When Rhino attacks, the attack gains overkill. At the end of this attack, discard charge. So he's sitting at a 6 attack right now. I think that's good for us. I think that pretty much shores up the game. We got to do 13 damage, and I've got Giant Stomp. That can do 8 to an enemy. When I switch, that's 9. Ant-Man will do 3, that's 12, and one of these guys attacking. Yes. All right, so let's change form into giant form. We'll deal 1 damage to an enemy. We will play Giant Stomp. It costs 3. Play only if you're in Giant Hero form, which I am now. Actually, let me have a little bit more fun. Hero response. So Moxie, after I change form, your hero gets +1 thwart, +1 attack, and +1 defense until the end of the round, and it's a 0 cost card. Now I'll play Giant Stomp. Costs 3. I've got Pim Particles, Power Gloves, and Call for Aid. And Pim Particles, after you spin this card, if you're in Giant form, heal 2. So I'm just going to take 2 damage off. So that's the 3 resources to pay for this. Deal 1 damage to each minion. There are no minions. Deal 8 damage to an enemy. So we'll just take the 10 off and add another 2. Then with this card, Ant-Man in giant forms, attack is 4. We will attack with that and deal the 4 damage. All right, there you have it. Pretty simple run through against a very basic Rhino. Just to get an idea of what's going on in the Ant-Man deck. So I don't think it was only 20 minutes or so. I don't think I'll play again right now. Just keep this video real short. Like I said, just to get a see what's in the deck. And again, it's against the very simple first boss in there. It's interesting. It's obvious what this guy is built for with his signature cards and with the abilities. You want to constantly be thinking about flipping forms from big to, or from giant to tiny to alter ego. I don't know about, I mean, we'll see how the longevity of the way that they have built this card. I mean, it looks pretty solid. I'm trying to figure out how I could sleeve this so that it gets a little bit of extra protection. Maybe I can build something out of some of my penny sleeves or something. But there you go. That's Ant-Man. Ant-Man Scott Lang. Let's take a quick flip through. So Army of Ants seems interesting. There seems to be other cards that if you can get a couple of your Army of Ants into play, I thought I read one. Here's an upgrade for him. After you change giant hero form. So this is another one where if you're changing form, this is an upgrade that you can have out. You can heal some damage from yourself and draw a card. There's Hank Pym. So Hank Pym, this is actually an interesting card. So Hank Pym, he's an ally with 0 cost, 0 health. So you're like, but I get him out for free and he just dies right away? Well, no, you got to read the text. He gets a +1 hit point for each Pym counter on him. And when he enters play, you place a Pym counter on him to a max of 4 for each resource you overpaid for Ant-Man's cost. So you could decide, oh, should I mean, I could pay 2 to get Ant-Man, to get Hank Pym Ant-Man out. Then he's a 2/2 with 2 health. I could pay 3. He's a 2/2 with 3 health. So you got a little bit of flexibility with this particular ally, and maybe you just need a blocker. You're in a situation where oh crap, I can't take damage again next turn, but I've got Hank Pym Ant-Man in my hand. I'll pay 1 resource, get him out, and then he can just block for me. As long as, you know, Rhino doesn't have this charge overkill card, or it doesn't have to be just Rhino, but as long as the person who's attacking you doesn't have overkill. So Army of Ants, I was looking for that other card. There's another Army of Ants. I thought there was one that dealt, was it Hive Mind? Yeah, Hive Mind. So this is kind of interesting. This one goes off of tiny form. So you want these Army of Ants, you know, get some support out there for you, and then you have a card like this where you can remove 2 threat from a scheme. This is only if you're in tiny form. Remove 1 additional threat from that scheme for each of the Army of Ants support you control. So you get a couple of these out, and then you're talking about taking 4 off of a scheme. I don't know if there's one for giant form. It kind of makes sense that the little Army of Ants helps you when you are in tiny form, because, you know, ants are tiny. Okay, this is cool. I really like how they've done this game where these hero packs they come with a deck that you can just dive right into. I opened up the pack put them in the sleeves, got Rhino out, 10 minutes later, I'm ready to dive into a game with a brand new character, some brand new signature cards, other brand new cards in the deck. So I think they're on a really good design track right now with how this particular product is coming out. Okay, leave any comments down below about this series, any ideas for that you would have on how I could go through the rest of the material for this game, and any thing else that I might have screwed up when I played through. Okay, I hope you were enjoying. See you in the next one.